not suspects.
You're not a suspect. You're the new Will Graham.
He's working for the FBI now?
Hello. I love your work.
This man introduced himself.
We'll finish it together.
There is no God.
Certainly not with that attitude. God gave you purpose.
Hannibal season 2, let's get straight into it. Just from straight Hannibal lore, I know Hannibal lives to be old, like Anthony Hopkins' age, but for Will, I have no idea because I've never encountered Will in any of the other Hannibal material that I've consumed. But like, I just know something is telling me Will can't just go down like this. Is Alana gonna keep advocating for him? How is Will going to find out or like get himself out of the rot that he's in right now? How would Hannibal continue doing what he does, or is just business as usual for him? And also what I'm looking forward to in this season is how the formula changes, because the formula has been so centered around Will and Hannibal's experiment essentially of Will, right? So now that we're going into a new phase with Will behind bars, who's that primary, you know, character going to be? Is it still going to be Will? Obviously I don't want us to forget about Will, but just the basic dynamic of the show, I'm looking forward to see how that changes and all the fun these sick creators are gonna have with Hannibal. So let's get into it. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for the support. If you're watching this on YouTube, then we're probably almost done with this season on Patreon, so go ring it up over there. Thank you all for watching on YouTube. Much love. Let's get it.
Previously on Hannibal.
Because he was saving lives.
I told you not to put him out there!
Alana.
Somebody is making sure that no one believes me.
You catch these killers by getting into their heads.
I know who you are anymore.
Such a moment.
Will.
Ooh, what a finale that was. For me, it was just a couple hours ago, but for some of y'all, I'm sure it was waiting like a year or a couple of years for this. Jack? Are you cooking for Jack again? The reflection. Why does this seem so intense? Hello? Kick that ass, Jack. Let's go. Is this a dream? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Jack a tank. What is going on? Hold on. Is it just me, or is the quality kind of down a little bit? What the f is going on? Is this some kind of dream, or hey, Hannibal, you're messing with Morpheus right here. You're messing with motherfucking Morpheus. This can't be real. This can't be real. Oh yeah. Good job, Jack. Good job. God damn. In the first episode? There's gotta be some kind of... Hold on, I had to make sure this is episode 1. And I didn't click on the last episode of the season. What the f? 12 weeks earlier. So that did happen, but not yet. I also want to know what became of Abigail. If there's any chance she's still alive at all. Is that vinegar?
This course is called Mukozuki.
What a beautiful presentation, Doctor.
Kaiseki. A Japanese art form that honors the taste and aesthetic of what we eat.
Well, I almost feel guilty about eating it.
I never feel guilty eating anything.
Oh my god. Of course you don't. Sick.
I can't quite place the fish.
Cause it's not fish, mother. He said he was a flounder. You know, before Hannibal feeding people meat used to be haha funny. It's weird even saying that, but like now after season 1 it's just you freaking sick a-hole. Like,
Prepared this meal for my aunt Murasaki under similarly unfortunate circumstances. A loss. This is a loss.
of Will.
Will is a loss, and we're mourning a death.
Will's death is on me.
It's on both of us.
Will's dead.
Thinking that Will may be convicted of 5 murders, while I only may be convicted of 1.
But you're not on trial.
According to Will Graham, this was all you.
Will was your bloodhound. You can't ignore where he points.
I'm not ignoring it.
Oh,
You have to investigate me. It's in my best interest. And yours.
I also can't ignore the fact that my bloodhound went mad.
Can't define Will only by his mad gestures.
We can't define Will at all.
so Will has been talking about Hannibal potentially being the. Aww. Is he dreaming of his fun times? I can't remember the name of this suit, like the suit people wear to step into the water when they fish. But for some reason, my wife wants to get one so bad. That full body, I don't know if it's leather suit. My wife is really big into the outdoors, by the way. Like, she wants to own land, grow her own food, all that. So recently she started talking about having a suit like this. I'm gonna show her this. I'm gonna show this to her, this scene. My boy Will Graham. Oh, here we go. Still haunting Will in his dreams, huh? This I am happy though that Will has clarity now.
I said, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel I'm sitting in a dunking tank, lobbing softballs, hoping to make a splash.
More lobs, you are in my hospital. You're my patient now, Will.
I'm not talking to you, Frederick.
Hannibal.
I want to talk to Dr. Lector.
Yeah, Will seems to have a clear mind now. The freaking stag, yo. I literally just finished season 1 a couple hours ago, so this don't feel too different to me, honestly. It's almost like the same shit we've been watching. But everyone says this season is even better, so I'm here for cinema. Alana?
Dr. Bloom, you were warned against putting someone with Will Graham's issues into the field. Were you aware that Dr. Bloom would be filing this report? Did you advise her against it?
Whatever she felt was necessary. Evidently, she felt it was necessary to file the report.
It's damning stuff, Jack.
I never stated anywhere that this was misconduct. In my opinion, it was a lapse in judgment.
A lapse in judgment is misconduct.
Fair.
A federal examiner is someone who arrives at a battlefield after the battle and bayonets the wounded. Who do you think is going to be getting the bayonet?
Oh?
I would greatly appreciate it if you would recant your report.
No, Will Graham's
Wow.
life has been destroyed. How that happened has to be a matter of record.
Exactly.
Sorry, Jack.
They gotta sweep it under the rug? Hell no.
This is going to get ugly.
Shout out to you, Jack, for being accountable and not trying to dodge it.
There a storm? Looks like someone's blasting beaver dams again.
Are we still gonna have villains of the week? I'm sure, right? Dead person. Or couple. Freaking nightmare. I guess that answered my question.
Will Graham has asked to see me. I continue to be curious about the way he thinks.
Of course you are.
He's still influencing you. Will Graham asking to see you betrays his clear intent to manipulate.
If I agree to see Will?
It betrays your clear intent to manipulate him. You are obsessed with Will Graham.
Correct.
Will is my friend.
Why? Why is he your friend?
Sees his own mentality as grotesque but useful.
I imagine there's an honesty in that you can relate to.
Absolutely, he relates to that.
What can't you repress, Hannibal?
His taste? That little smirk he does. So Abigail is just gone forever. We'll never see or hear about what happened. Okay, I'm tired of this fucking stag.
Hello, Will.
Dr. Lector.
Lost in thought?
Not lost.
Not lost.
Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Hear my thoughts inside my skull with the same tone, timbre, accent as if the words were coming out of my mouth.
The manipulation, man.
I can't get you out of my head.
Friendship can sometimes involve a breach of individual separateness.
You're not my friend. Light from friendship won't reach us for 1,000,000 years. That's how far away from friendship we are.
Oh, burn him, Louis.
I imagine it's easier to believe I'm responsible for those murders than it is to accept that you are.
Sure is.
Accepting responsibility for what you've done. Giving your thoughts words encourages clarity.
Hello? So Hannibal is not even... He's still playing the facade. Like, after that gaze he gave Will at the end of last episode, I assumed that gaze was, ha, I got your ass. Like, it was all me all this time. So he's still carrying all the facade, like trying to make Will believe Will did all of it. The moment you start to think Hannibal is regular, it's like Will knows your secret. Like, Will is in a clear state of mind right now, and he's still trying to play the game, obsessively intrigued, as his psychologist said. Wow, he's really still playing the game.
I'm going to remember, Dr. Lector. And when I do, there will be a reckoning.
Ooh!
I have huge faith in you, Will.
That's probably what he wants, though. It's almost like season 1 was stage 1 of Hannibal's plan. It's like in a video game, he's in stage 2 now, still enjoying the process of everything. Oh. COVID?
I'm amazed what falls off the best of us when moving through a room.
Lessons learned from cellular decay. Enjoy the world while we have it. Give a little bit back.
When possible, I try to leave an indelible mark wherever I go.
Hopefully not with your DNA. You might want to think about supplementing your wardrobe.
I frequently do.
Except for maybe Will Graham.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to be disappointed. The beauty of what you do, Miss Katz, is in its certainty. It'll be your evidence that convicts Will. Will's doing his best to understand where he is and why.
Not any more than I'm mad at myself. We all missed it.
We all are not suspects.
You're not a suspect. You're the new Will Graham.
He's working for the FBI now? You're the new Will Graham? I'm worried for everybody's safety.
Thank you for coming, Dr. Lector.
It's a lot of bodies. Jesus.
How long have they been here? Hard to say, but someone went through a lot of trouble to make sure that they were well preserved. They've been coated in some kind of resin.
The big one was partially...
Resin?
Well, they're injected with silicone. Technique for making resin-coated models out of fish. Helps the body retain shape in death. It's making human models.
Messed up.
These were tossed in the river.
Okay, just from that conversation, I'm seeing a pattern here. Again, you guys know I don't like theorizing or like looking into the future, but like they showed us how this episode started, a fight between Morpheus and Hannibal. So it's like, I know Jack is way too smart not to start putting things together of like how good Hannibal is at now doing Will's job. That like Hannibal was the confidant they had the whole time, that were on every scene and everything. Also, Jack also, from what happened to Miriam and now what happened to Will, letting people get too close, I'm sure by now he has a pattern of like knowing the dangers that might surround people he's bringing into the work like this, either the danger to themselves or the dangers from them to others. So maybe it's through the line of duty here of Hannibal doing Will's job that Jack is gonna. As always, I'm just rambling. Do not confirm or deny anything. Let it sweep me off my feet whenever it happens, if it happens or not. Season 2 is already cooking, boy.
I'm giving you informed consent to discuss me as your patient.
With whom?
The FBI?
Disclosure of patient information should be limited to the requirements of the situation.
Will Graham made accusations.
You're keeping Agent Crawford close.
We share an obsession. I got to be Will Graham today. I consulted at an FBI crime scene. Looked through his eyes and I saw death. How I imagined he would see it.
This man is in bliss.
To be inviting the scrutiny of the FBI, you maintain an air of transparency. In the position to lie for you.
Smart woman.
You're not just lying for me.
How far will this flirtation with the FBI go? Jack Crawford doesn't know what you're capable of.
Right. What does she know about Hannibal that we don't? Nah, from these last 2 episodes, she definitely knows something or is highly suspicious, like they just said. And at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, but that conversation almost seemed to have a little hint of blackmail there, you know, from Hannibal to her. Which is so interesting because like in their conversations, she's usually the one with the that has that power dynamic there. She usually the one on top. You know what I'm saying? But in the last 2 conversations they had, while he was feeding her, presumably Abigail's body, and this conversation is almost like that power has kind of switched. That's why it gave me a hint of like blackmailing. Quite curious. Which takes me back. Whoever attacked her, Hannibal did something to them, right? That's why she knows what he's capable of. Aww. Foster parent Alana.
Find me there.
Maybe someday he might. With the right defense. You keep firing your lawyers.
Yeah, they're the FBI's lawyers.
Then I'll find you a lawyer who's not affiliated with the FBI.
Alana, shout out to you.
Allows a defendant to argue they shouldn't be held criminally liable for their actions due to unconsciousness. Well, your mind was on fire. You had no control of what you were doing, much less remember doing it.
What if I could remember?
What if you could remember how you did it?
He didn't, baby.
I believe you lost your mind, and
of course, he's listening in.
Now, I hear Hannibal's voice in the well of my mind. I hear him saying words that he's never said to me. It isn't my imagination, it's something else. Have you ever helped a patient recover memory?
Alana, yes. I'm scared for her. I think Hannibal is gonna come for her.
Feel the happiness. Imagine yourself in
Holy shit, Alana.
a relaxing place.
God damn.
No matter how deeply you go with you.
This show is beautiful. That's just a good representation. Is that all of Hannibal's muck?
This isn't working.
What did you see?
I just want to gush over how much I loved everything that just happened there. I always love when shows give us a nice visual of concepts that are only talked about. You know, maybe in a less artistic show, it would just be words. I'm going into your head, let my voice lead you to the truth, yada yada. But nah, like the embodiment of Alana like literally came into him through a kiss, which also connects their romance as well, and also her being a guide for him. And then they showed us inside his brain and all the muck Hannibal has on the table of his mind, I'm presuming. And then Mr. Stag Man himself with the antlers on the other side of the table with Abigail's ear on the plate. The music as well, like...
Will, what did you see?
He saw this motherfucker.
Salted and ash-baked celeriac with foraged symphy. It's rare that I cook a meatless meal.
I lost a kidney. I have to watch my protein intake.
You didn't lose it, Patrick. It was taken from you. I remain impressed with your recovery.
For real.
Will was never my patient.
The irony is that he is my patient, but he refuses to speak to me. He's trained in criminal psychology, and he is a mass murderer. He's a prized patient, or should be.
So is Hannibal.
He asked her to hypnotize him so he could recover his memories. This is delicious. Only in plain Dr. Bloom. It's sad to see a brilliant psychiatrist fall for such hoary old chestnuts.
I do too.
Bull.
The topic of conversation. You are a monster.
But in that case, you are dining with a psychopathic murderer, Frederick.
The jokes are crazy. Uh-oh. What's gonna happen here? Who is our...
You have nice skin.
You have nice skin. I wish someone would tell me shit like that. Oh. My dear boy, they're about to get you. Run back inside, please. Is that brown sugar? Freaking sick. So he is making dolls. While they're awake, maybe a little bit out of it.
They all disappeared from their homes with their vehicles.
And they all had large amounts of heroin in their systems. Enough to be...
Heroin? He drugged them?
Shot them up with a little China white, injected them with preservatives, then filled the bodies with silicone so they don't emaciate, and seals them with like a hard resin shell.
If this is the discard pile, I'm curious to know how many were keepers.
For real.
All right, I want a list of any missing persons that disappeared along with their vehicles in the neighboring states.
It's good to see you.
Don't know how I feel about seeing you.
Does Jack know you're here?
No, but he shouldn't be surprised.
I'm surprised.
I'm compartmentalizing.
They need his help. They still need his brain. Crazy.
You have the file with you?
Yes.
And pictures?
Yes. 6 bodies were found in the same place, dumped in a river, caught in a beaver dam.
What's he do to them?
He targets them, follows them home, abducts them, and preserves them. These are DMV pictures of people who are still missing, under similar circumstances, from 3 different states. Tell me what you see.
And the sad thing about this is like Will is such a good man and he's always been out to do good. So he's not going to be selfish with his gifts. You know, if there's a killer out there, regardless of what he's going through, he's still going to help, even though some might see this as like a slap in the face. Like, y'all put me in here and y'all still need my help. But yeah, Will is always gonna try to do good, so look at this boy work. This man is grabbing anybody and everybody. Every race, ethnicity, everything.
It's a color palette.
An artist. This is Will. God damn, they in stake in there? Shit. He's gonna start saying shit, isn't he? He's remembering. That's how he fed him Alana. Sorry, Abigail. You sick bastard. Atta boy. He's remembering. Oh, Will. Good job, Will. Good job, Alana. Good job. Now I can see more and more how the season will end with Jack whooping Hannibal's ass. I cannot wait. I'm gonna watch that fight again at the end of this episode. Aww.
Hey, Winston. I suppose you blame me too, huh?
Hello, Jack?
Jack gotta know something is off.
Take better care of this dog.
All the dogs chipped, but at least they're not running away to anywhere I can't find them.
He's just looking for Will.
Isn't that why you're here?
I understand why you felt you had to file that report. It will help in Will's defense if it's in the record.
It will.
Declaring Hannibal's guilt is more important to Will than establishing his own defense.
Hannibal's not guilty.
But he's clinging to the hope Hannibal did this so he doesn't have to face what he did.
Convince me he didn't know what he was doing.
A psychopath wouldn't be so scared of the truth, Jack. But that's not stopping him from trying to find it. If Will doesn't remember what he did, he'll never accept the truth.
He already knows the truth, though. About Hannibal, at least.
Will? Hey, Will.
I think I'm gonna love Jack this season. I have a feeling. I'm gonna love Jack.
Remind myself of who you once were. You know that man whose classroom I walked into months ago?
Nice it is to stumble on a new one. Hannibal Lector did this to me. It's a funny thing, doubt. But I had nothing to prove to myself or anyone else that Hannibal was responsible. Not even a memory.
But now you do.
You have something now? Recovered a memory?
Yes. There wasn't an orgy of evidence. There was just enough to convince you.
We investigated your claims about Dr. Lecter, Will, thoroughly. We went over every fiber of every stitch of clothing. We took his DNA. We took his fingerprints. We found nothing.
You let the fox into the henhouse. Described Hannibal Lecter.
Hear this.
Intelligent psychopath you're looking for.
Deep down, Jack knows, man. Something.
You may not believe me now. You will.
I love the writing, like the conversation. Because I'm sure for TV shows and movies, there are people who write the story, and then there are people who like do some of the like conversations, like how monologues go back and forth and whatnot. But it's like every single time two people are talking in Hannibal, it matters. It is not wasted. It matters. Like right here, Will saying it matters to me. Yes, motherfucker, it does. Because one of my biggest worries when this shit was going down in the finale is, oh my goodness, it's like Will can't even remember. So placing all this extra murders on him, there's that fear of, did I actually do this? But now Will has some answers. It's like, this matters to me, even though not to you. It might be meaningless to you, Jack. Yeah, I think Jack is gonna make me proud this season. Can't wait. Mads Mikkelsen, man. Chef's kiss. He's actually missing Will. Oh God, what did he do to that man's body? Did he wake up? He's stuck together. And there are more bodies around him too. Wow. This is horrifying. It almost looks like an iris. That's the type of shit people dream about in nightmares when they think of themselves in hell. Being in a pool of bodies. Boy, season 2 came out swinging. I ain't gonna lie. Wow, okay. So I guess a lot of my questions have been answered that I had at the beginning of the episode. How will a lot of the dynamics this season change? Will and his redemption. Alana advocating for him. But I didn't have Hannibal taking Will's job in my bingo card. And I have a feeling that is going to set up one of the puzzle pieces for Jack to find out the truth, to lead to that ass whooping we saw in the beginning. Yeah, a lot of my questions I think were answered. And I think this, the artistic department in this season 2 definitely got a raise. Or deserve a raise. Because, like, I mean, a lot of the shots are pretty similar. But, like, a lot of the ways that the concepts were visualized, especially, like, Alana entering into his brain to help him remember. That was so beautiful. The stag, man, beautiful. The scenes of the fishing. I can't wait to see more about like Hannibal and his doctor and his psychologist, to find out more, because like I said, it felt like there was a hint of blackmailing a little bit this episode and in this conversation they had, and her calling him out on the as well. It's like your proximity to the FBI and you signing this waiver has kind of like made me an accomplice to lying for you. You know, you putting me in this position again. And he said, you're not just lying for me, assuming you're lying for us. So there's almost like a blackmail, and it took me back to like, what does he have over her? And I know some ways connected to the attack of her patient attacking her and Hannibal doing something about it. And Hannibal's conversation with Will is like, I was so surprised because I thought Hannibal was going to be like, hey, I did it all. You were unable to catch me, da-da-da. But no, he's still trying to convince Will that you did those murders. Are you daft? Shout out to Alana. Protect her at all costs. Protect Alana at all costs, dog. And the villain of the week we have, dude, making color palettes. That final scene was horrifying. Wow. Let's end it here today, my friends. I hope you enjoyed. I want to hear all your thoughts. I want to hear all your spoiler-free, hinting-free thoughts. I love reading what y'all got to say. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my rambles. And I'll catch you in episode 2 and 3. Yeah. Peace.
A few moments later.
Hannibal episode 2 and 3. Let's see what embalming dude is all about. That was a creepy one. The way the episode ended with the dude in the silo surrounded by all the other bodies. Let's get into it, yo.
Alfred doesn't know what you're capable of.
Mm-hmm.
You maintain an air of transparency. Well,
he blackmailed her.
Someone went through a lot of trouble to make sure they were well preserved.
A color palette. Jesus. Oh my God, his skin is tearing apart. Look at this, man. Oh, he sewed him together. This. He is so determined to get out of here. I hope he gets away. I hope he gets away, man. Please. Yes. Run away, please. Get away, get away. Run, run, run. Why do you gotta be in a goddamn cornfield? Oh, God. Keep running, man. Keep running. Don't let all this be for nothing, man. Yeah, man. He'd rather take that chance. I think he hit something on his way down. He didn't go straight into the water. Let's see. Yeah, he's done. He hit the rocks before he hit the water. Jeez.
Unreliable narrator of my own story.
You have an incomplete self.
I don't know who I am anymore.
Without remembering, you're seized by something imagined.
Man, shut up.
Believing I did it and did this to me.
Hannibal isn't responsible, Will. And neither are you. We have to get to the truth of what happened. It's the only way to move forward.
Man.
The only thing that felt real to me. I trusted you.
For real. Don't lie to me.
And you can't trust me.
God, I'm
Well, let us help you. Let me help you.
I need your help.
Is this part of Will's plot? Is he trying to take advantage of how Hannibal really feels about him, or is this like genuine? Because I think Will is very much aware of the plot against him. So it's like, I'm seeing it from two directions right now. Maybe Will is just playing into Will's need for friendship, into Hannibal's need for friendship and companionship, or he legitimately needs their help. But how would he need Hannibal's help when he knows what Hannibal did? Man. Yeah, he's playing their ass. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Yeah. Cause I was like, come on now, we'll know the jig is up. So he better be playing Hannibal. And Hannibal was there looking at him with sad eyes.
Oh, what a pleasant surprise.
She's never been to his office.
Please, sit down.
We don't have a next session.
Oh.
I am no longer your therapist.
I'm done with your ass.
I have reached the limit of my efficacy. I don't believe I can help you.
Are you giving me a referral?
I am simply ending our patient-psychiatrist relationship.
And friendship, please. Is he gonna take
You
her
tried
out?
to end it before.
However, in light of everything that has happened with Will Graham, I have begun to question your action, me, and my attack.
I want to know that story so bad.
Share these questions with Jack Crawford.
And nor will I. I would look just as guilty. But perhaps that is what you intended.
The power play.
Had to draw a conclusion through the stitching of the person suit that you wear.
Exactly.
And the conclusion that I've drawn is that you are dangerous.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Please don't come to my home again.
Golly. Good job, baby girl. I'm glad she made it out of this office alive.
His name is Roland Umber. Same profile as the other victims.
Oh, God.
Disappeared from home. Had a large dose of heroin in his system.
This victim wasn't unstrung. He was ripped from his moorings.
Whatever his imperfection, it was enough to aggravate the killer into tearing him down, casting bodies in every direction but his own.
Profiting in the current causes so many post-mortem...
Jack. I told y'all I'm gonna love Jack this season. And it's so subtle. The slight looks he gives Hannibal anytime Hannibal drops some bars or something that just shows that he's very knowledgeable or like far from the mundane. It's like, and I think this show did such a good job of starting the last episode with that fight between them. You know what I'm saying? So like, we're just here anticipating how Jack will put 2 and 2 together to get there. And every episode, there's been something that Jack has like, maybe a little look or like a glance that lasts a little too long. And I'm like, Jack, you already knew something was up with Hannibal after he fought Tobias. When Jack was in the office, like, something don't seem right here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, anytime Hannibal says something, Jack just, you know, give him a little glance, you know, like, you know a lot. What's up, Gus? I'm so sad, like, this dude didn't make it. I mean, he ripped his flesh apart trying to escape, but unfortunate.
Join me over here.
There may be trace evidence preserved in the craquelure.
What?
Craquelure. It's French.
For
That appear on an oil painting as it dries and becomes rigid with age.
Could be something in there. Fiber, debris, might help track where the bodies were before they got dumped.
What do the victims have in common?
What if it isn't what they have in common?
The color of our skin is so often politicized. Horrific. We're supposed to see color, Jack. That may be all this killer has ever seen in his fellow man. A fascinating insight, Miss Katz. As if Will Graham himself were here in the room.
Yes, it is. How's Will Graham? Shut your mouth. Is there a reason you didn't come to me before you decided to go talk to him?
I figured you'd say no.
You figured correctly.
But I knew you'd want to say yes. I had to go because I knew you wouldn't. If you had gone like you wanted, I wouldn't have had to.
You need him.
Why didn't you? Fine, so don't trust him. Just listen to him.
I'm listening. This is what I'm hearing. Is wrong.
You think he's innocent?
I don't know what I think.
Come on, Jack.
In the name of saving lives. Now, there's an internal investigation. I'm under the microscope to determine my competency to sit in this chair.
Well, what do you want me to do? If you don't want me to go back, I won't.
He does.
We didn't have this conversation. And go and do whatever it is you believe it is your job to do.
Jack.
And do it.
Hey, man. Me and Jack this season, we're like 5 and 6. Corn. Wow. The way they visualize what he's seen by smell.
I've been advised to stay on this side of the line.
Select patients have taken to urinating on the therapists.
I would argue drawing a line might encourage a pissing contest.
I'm not interested in a pissing contest with you, Dr. Lecter. Please pull up your chair.
Will is playing. But will Hannibal see the act or be fooled by it?
You said the light from friendship won't reach us for 1,000,000 years. That's how far away we are. I hope our friendship feels closer today.
Friends have a symmetrical relationship.
One that I'm well aware of, particularly with my own therapist.
But we're just having conversations.
You were searching for something in your head to incriminate me. I only assume you didn't find it.
There's not much in there I recognize.
Whatever you remember, if you do remember, will be a distortion of reality.
Wouldn't want Alana Bloom to worry about you dwelling on anything morbid in what's to be a time of recovery.
It's the only thing that feels normal.
Work.
The structure of understanding the violence.
What did you see in the pictures?
He's stitching them together. Each body is a brushstroke. He's making a human mural.
Why does he do it?
He's missing pieces too.
Always love how it connects with Will. Every single killer of the week.
Reasons for stopping multiple murders do readily occur to me, but of course he is. He loves when I have visitors. He's recording every word. He's
You're right. I can't get that. Say I ignore the evidence against you, what then?
Strike it from your mental record. You'll find more evidence. If I'm not guilty, you'll maybe find that too.
All right.
I love that she's playing a bigger role this season. I mean, she's always had a main role in season 1. A bigger role as in being Will's freaking hands and legs outside to like... Which was a role I thought Alana was going to take. But then again, Alana is not an investigator or in that realm. So I love that she's getting a bigger role this season. She's always had a connection to Will that I always found quite wholesome. Wouldn't necessarily call it a friendship, but just like mutual respect or like comfort.
Do you mind if I do this privately?
Yes.
Girl. Man, he almost got away. Wow, he can do it even through pictures? Wow, Will. I didn't know your game was this strong.
Did Roland Umber have priors with substance abuse? He had a high tolerance for opiates. The overdose didn't kill him. He tore himself free.
Will. Yes.
He ran.
Will is him.
Other bodies were dumped. Roland Umber got away.
Got away from where?
The warehouse, farm, someplace abandoned, upstream from where the body was found. It'll be close to the water.
Thank you.
Will Graham, ladies and gentlemen.
He thinks the killer tore him down, dumped his body like the others.
That may be what he said.
Giving them wrong information. He's in his work suit. This man's really in his jumpsuit right here. Why doesn't he cover his hair? Because that's one of the easiest pieces of DNA that can be misplaced in a crime scene. You got a full head of hair, my boy. I always thought it looked like an iris. How did you not see a man on top of this?
Hello. I love your work.
This man introduced himself. I love your work.
However did you find this place?
You and Will Graham are a good team. You gave us the what we were looking for, he gave us the where.
We just went upstream from where the body was found until we hit corn.
So what did Hannibal do with the killer?
Follow me, please.
I'm sure I haven't.
She did this morning. 30-something bodies were in there.
How could a human being go so bad?
Built from a DNA blueprint and born into a world of scenario and circumstance we don't control.
Praise the mutilated world, huh?
He already knows this guy.
The eye looks beyond this world into the next. If it were an existential crisis, I would argue there wouldn't be any reflection in the eye at all.
A person who could do this kind of thing, would they be likely to continue doing it?
Those in the world around him are a means to an end. He uses them to do what he's driven to do.
To do what I was driven to do, to save lives at the expense of his,
Wow, flashback.
I thought whatever I could put him through, he would be strong enough to fight his way back to himself, and I was wrong.
Maybe he's still fighting.
Oh no, this is his, sorry, this is his psych eval that he was talking about earlier. That transition was cold.
Will Graham was a means to an end. I used him to do what I was driven to do, to save lives at the expense of his.
It's okay not to know. You can't know everything. You can't be...
The way I see other people, the world feels much darker. What I did to Will Graham, it's the guilt of watching all these other lives fall apart based on what I did.
What did you do?
I pushed him.
You miscalculated.
I failed.
Okay, I'm obviously loving the accountability and introspection that Jack is doing. But kind of like last episode, I can't remember who was saying, it's Will that was saying, I thought doing this work would help me get better. I was getting better. And just the heartbreaking realization that, yes, Will, it would have if you didn't have Hannibal there. So it's kind of like Jack too now saying like, yes, I pushed him, but like that would have, maybe he would have been strong enough not to break or whatever the scenario was. But it's like, again, if Hannibal wasn't there, it wouldn't have gotten as bad as it is now, you know? Yes, Jack did push a lot, which he's accounting for and, you know, being honest here. But it's like, at the same time, it's almost like I can't let him be so hard on himself in this moment, because Hannibal extremely expedited that process of Will's damage, you know? So Hannibal is the freaking adding gasoline to a fire, you know? A fire that maybe with time the fire would have died down and quenched itself. But Hannibal is like freaking gasoline and diesel.
I look at my friend and I see a killer. I'm failing to reconcile those two things.
Wow.
Security clearance or background check?
That's the killer.
Why am I looking at this man?
Stitch patterns on John Doe 21 match Roland Umber.
John Doe 21 is Roland Umber's replacement in the mural.
What happened to his leg? Maybe the killer had to cut off his leg just so he'd fit.
Oh, hell.
What did Dr. Lector say?
This man didn't only kill the killer, he did the killer's thing on him. So when he said, I'm a fan of your work, he wasn't messing around. He wasn't bullshit. And took a leg to eat. He is the devil.
There was never supposed to be a reflection.
Sick. Oof. Like before season 1, he was just like, I think one of the questions I asked in the beginning of last episode is how will all the dynamics change? So like nothing really changed for Hannibal. The same way he was using Will and the FBI to have fun and make his plaything in season 1. He's still doing the same thing here. Taking all the information they have, hiding actual information from them, messing around with the killers and the cases, making bomb-ass looking food. So it's like business as usual for him. He just has way more insight now, being so close to the cases.
I simply can't offer you any more insight than I already have.
Not accounting for future insight.
I feel it would be irresponsible if I continue to seek.
Irresponsible.
Talk to him.
For me.
Talk to him.
I can only help Hannibal if I'm feeling secure. I'm not feeling secure right now. So I am recusing myself from the situation.
Boundaries.
I'm not sure I do.
Just tell him.
Hannibal and I were both traumatized by dangerous patients. It has been a, albeit unpleasant reminder that I have unresolved. Obviously, I cannot control whether or not the FBI contacts me. I can only tell you what I told Hannibal. I prefer that you don't.
Give him more, please.
Burn me out before my trial, and then where will I be?
I'm devoting a lot of time to this mural, Will. It's hard for me to focus on anything else I've been tasked to do. Could use your help.
In the 19th century, it was wrongly believed that the last image seen by the eyes of a dying person would be fixed on the retina.
Will is gonna know.
I made you pliable, set and sealed you where you lay. This is my design, unless someone else sees me.
Mm-hmm. Hannibal.
One of these things is not like the others.
The centerpiece.
Who are you?
The killer.
Why are you so different from everyone else? Are not my design.
It's Hannibal's, baby. Wow, that's Will. And it's almost like Hannibal knew Will was gonna find this.
And are we not created in his image?
Such a line from season 1. Look at him. It's like he was waiting for Will to like catch on. Sometimes I feel like Hannibal is freaking betting. Like doing parlay or something, just waiting for the outcome he wants to like come to the surface. Look at him even leaning in when Will is about to say something like, oh, like, did you figure it out? Did you find my little Easter egg I left for you in there? Nasty. He makes me so mad. He makes me so mad. I can't help it. He makes me so mad. Playing God, dog.
Whoever sewed him in took a piece of him.
Or as dinner.
You must have had a friend. You're not alone, you know. In the resurrection, Piero della Francesca placed himself in the fresco. Nothing flattering. He depicted himself as a simple god asleep at his post.
God.
We'll finish it together.
There is no God.
Certainly not with that attitude. God gave you purpose. Not only to create art, but to become it.
Wow.
If God is looking down at you, don't you want to be looking back at him?
So comforting too while he's doing it.
The prosecution will paint a picture of you as an intelligent psychopath. You conspired with your neurologist to cultivate an illness that would ultimately be your alibi.
Wow.
I killed my neurologist to broom the footprints behind me.
That's what everyone in the courtroom will hear when you take the stand, regardless of what you say.
Well, what's to be done about that?
Let's discuss it.
Interesting.
I'm pleading innocent.
Tell him.
You very publicly lost your mind. Some would argue theatrically.
Not my performance you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
Guilty and given the federal death penalty.
Nah, you're trying to save your image.
I guess I'll have to save my own life.
In these moments, don't something click in your brain that this man is willing to die? Or not frightened by your death sentence? Shouldn't something click in your brain? With like all the... Talk to him, Will. Talk to him. Talk to him. Because he reads it as clear as a book. Like, y'all are just trying to save your image. I'm not gonna admit I did something I didn't do. Man, talk to him, Will. Come on. Oh, he's fishing. His happy place. It's so interesting that we never saw Will fish at all throughout season 1. Alana? Hannibal? Who's here? Jack? Oh.
My name is Bedelia de Maurier.
What's that like?
I've heard so much about you, I feel I almost know you.
You don't?
Wanted to meet you before I withdraw.
Well, you're a psychiatrist. Isn't our sense of self a consequence of social ties?
They certainly are in your case. Hannibal has done what he honestly believes is best for you.
Well, that isn't small comfort. That would be no comfort.
You can survive this happening.
Happening to me.
She knows.
Behind the white line, ma'am.
I believe you.
Honestly, I feel that just gave him all the boost in the world. And you know, it's one thing to say, I believe you. But like the fact that she stepped in front of him just showed him that she totally trusts him. Enough to put her life on it. You know? Because obviously what she just did is suicide if it was any other person. You know what I'm saying? God damn, I'm just thinking from Will's point of view right now. Even the person who is in his corner the most, Alana, still believes from all the evidence she has that he did it, but he was just unaware. So her believing in him this much, especially because of her proximity to Hannibal, oh yeah, this feels like this must feel like heaven to Will. Just that validation that someone that probably knows Hannibal this much believes in me. What a fucking moment, mate. Cinema. And I hope this grounds him as well to know that I am not crazy, whatever doubts he has. He got his bodysuit on. Where are you? This man has a full freaking suit under his jumpsuit. She moved away. He really came to kill her. Wow. She knew he was coming too.
And the conclusion that I've drawn is that you are dangerous.
Bedelia. I'm glad she survived this episode. She is smart. Definitely MVP of this episode. Like she said, this is all for closure, you know, before she withdraw. Went to Jack, went to Will, went to Hannibal. Deep the f out. God, I hope we see her again. The moment she got in the room with Will, I'm like, oh, this is a link up I didn't think was gonna happen or didn't even have in mind, but so good. The first thing Will asked was, what is that like being Hannibal's therapist? I'm just happy she wasn't in cahoots with him. Yeah, the beginning of this episode got me hyped. Will freaking faking being in need of Hannibal. But then again, Hannibal is very smart. This man is not just 5 steps ahead. He's rigged the whole game before you bought it from the store. He's rigged the whole board game before you even purchased it. So he's not just 5 steps ahead. So like, I want to see if Hannibal will have any weakness. I'm sure he has said in season 1 that Will is that weakness, or his yearning of friendship to Will is that weakness. So maybe, but like I said, man, Jack this season, that's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog this season, man. Everything with this killer of the week is just so essentially every single killer we've seen in this show, Hannibal is worse than all of them combined because he knows how to imitate them. He knows how to freaking copy their work. He probably wouldn't have more knowledge about what they're trying to do or their end game or their psychology behind all of it. That's why he can easily jump in any of their shoes and do it. And obviously the return of that line of like, killing must feel good, like God does it all the time. And I love how Jack is slowly piecing things together, because I feel like Bedelia didn't give Jack much with what she told him, but her detaching and leaving, I feel like is enough for Jack. It adds to the puzzle piece of Jack figuring out what's going in the place, you know? Yeah, man. Let me have a little break, and then we hop back into episode 3. I cannot wait. By the way I've structured my schedule to be able to do 2 episodes have been very good, because then I don't have to wait like half a week or almost a week to watch the next episode. But I'll see y'all soon. All right, episode 3, let's get straight into it.
You think Will is innocent?
I don't know what I think.
He still wants to save him.
Jack Crawford, man. Oof. Is that how they're gonna cook him? What the hell are you visualizing? God.
Graham, it's time.
His date in court. Look at them, besties.
Let me tell you the story
Puffs.
of a mild-mannered FBI instructor who was asked to create a psychological profile of a murderer. He killed young women that looked just like his daughter. He killed them. He shot Hobbs dead while he cut his daughter's throat. Will Graham was able to save Abigail Hobbs' life, but the profile that he created of her father was so vivid that...
Wrong.
He killed 4 more women.
Bullshit.
Cassie Boyle
Ugh, Georgia.
was able to save Abigail Hobbs from her father, but he wasn't able to save her from himself. Locked away in the recesses of Will Graham's traumatized mind, or so he would have you believe. Something else you should know about Will.
She's coming at him.
He has remarkable visual memory. He's keenly insightful to the human condition and
Look at Hannibal smirking.
one that would become his alibi.
I mean, all the evidence are very concrete, you know?
If I only knew what the truth was.
There's nothing wrong with your instincts.
My instincts have not yet arrived at conviction.
And no personal connections to the accused.
Meaning I can't be impartial.
Of course you can be impartial, but right now you're not. You have to believe something.
She's so sure.
As long as there is reason and evidence to believe. I understand why that might be hard for you to accept.
Do you?
It's easier to be a man who missed his friend's suffering, who missed a killer standing right in front of him. If you can't represent your own beliefs, represent the Bureau's.
They're only speaking this way because they don't know Hannibal. They haven't been in contact with him.
He didn't agree with what we called him. He told me that the title...
And what was your first impression?
He was intelligent and arrogant and very likely on the spectrum.
Which is why he wasn't real FBI. He didn't pass the screening procedures.
He could think like anybody.
Sounds like a supervillain. Will Graham enjoyed the cover his role at the FBI gave him to commit his terrible crimes.
I don't believe that to be true.
Oh, let's go, Jack. Let's go, Jack.
Agent Crawford?
Will hated every second of the work. He hated it. He hated it, and I kept making him do it.
Why then is it that when you offered him an opportunity to quit, he refused?
Because he was saving lives. And here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, the optics, man. Let the FBI be scrutinized for this.
What does Jack Crawford drink? Whatever it is, I need to send him a very expensive bottle.
For real.
I'm a killer because he drove me insane.
Oh, he paved the road for your defense.
Well, he didn't say I'm innocent.
Innocence isn't a verdict, Mr. Graham, but not guilty is. This isn't law. It's advertising.
Advertising trivializes, it manipulates, it's vulgar.
Boo-hoo, so's the law.
What is he about to see? Abigail's second ear. So Hannibal is just gonna keep toying with everybody as much as possible. It don't matter. Turn his TV off.
The prospect doesn't seem to trouble you as much as I would have thought.
There is something appealing about walking away from all of the noise. Content to let the chips fall.
Step through and leave all your burdens behind.
I've given my life.
Now death has followed you home.
In more than one way.
Bella has kept our bedroom from looking too much like a sick room. There are flowers, but not too many.
His wife.
She insists that there are no pills in sight. So I've been thinking about taking her to Italy where we met. She could die there.
You don't have to go into the ground with her. Bella's lost to you, the FBI could still be there for the short-term emotional satisfaction it can have.
I guess that is good advice. Coming from him, is it just that he don't want to lose his plaything, which Jack is also like his plaything in a sense. You know, remember how he was lonely in his office after Will got locked up? I was like, I don't want the same thing to happen to Jack. And look at him sending in an ear too. So is this just another freaking wrench he's throwing into the gears? You know, to make all of y'all know that, okay, Will probably didn't do. Let me just see, man.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. The timing's deliberate. It was choreographed to drop the ear at the beginning of Will's trial.
Such a gift has great significance.
A gift from who?
Will claims someone else committed the crimes he's accused of. Perhaps he was half right.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Hello?
It seems you have an admirer.
You think someone sent me an ear because they admire me?
The boundaries of what's considered normal are getting narrower. I have new thoughts about who you are. There may very well be another killer. Some part of you still suspects me.
But,
He's still playing the game, obviously.
I know there is no evidence against you. I'm not insane.
And you may not be guilty.
Like...
This ear you were sent is an opportunity. Someone else is responsible for your crimes.
Why would he want to be seen now?
He cares what happens to you.
Speaking in the third person.
Clarence to the stand.
Freddy. It's been a while, Freddy. She's dressed like she's going to a funeral or something. Or Sunday morning church.
Could you please describe your relationship with Abigail Hobbs?
We were very close. I was helping her write a book about surviving her father.
Did you ever discuss Will Graham with Abigail?
I should have listened to her.
Do you blame yourself for her death?
What?
I blame Will Graham.
Could you please remind me how many times you've been sued for libel?
6.
Sorry?
Louder.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Nice and short.
Defense calls Dr. Alana Bloom.
Combined with the effects of viral encephalitis.
I don't want the first time you do this to be in court. Dr. Bloom, weren't you and the accused romantically involved?
I wouldn't say that.
How is this relevant to the case?
It's relevant to your testimony. Pro everything Will Graham will be on trial. You get all starey and non-blinky like that, it'll undermine you and me, but mainly him.
My testimony is based on my professional...
You are smitten with the accused, Miss Bloom, and it is adorable, but not our brand of defense. Miss Vega will smell it on you like you stepped in young adult and tracked it into the courtroom. Involved romantically.
Okay, back off a little bit.
I have no romantic feelings for Will Graham. I have a professional curiosity.
It was presented in court as evidence, then it was sent to the courthouse evidence room, where it was checked out by the bailiff in Will's trial, Andrew Sykes, and it never went back.
Everything is heating up. Oh no. Hannibal is surgical with this shit, man. Whoa. All the trademarks, the open jaw, everything.
They wanted to give us a warm welcome and make sure that we found something.
Now smile, Miller lopped off his ear and set him on fire. Will Graham's greatest hits.
For real.
Graham, no, we could not. He practically takes selfies with his victims.
The evidence we found was immediate and almost presentational. May as well have been gift wrapped.
For real.
That's what Will said about Cassie Boyle when we found her in that field. Field kabuki.
There was no evidence before Will was apprehended, and there hasn't been any since.
Why didn't we? I was the one that said we should.
Knock it off.
That actually would have helped something. Taking a stool sample. Look at me here thinking about shit.
Yes, we should have. Well, why didn't we? I was the one that said we should.
Knock it off.
What impact would this have on Will's trial?
Agent Crawford, we all heard your testimony. Are you sure you're not just trying to assuage your own guilt?
Yes, I'm sure.
His lawyer is running an unconsciousness defense. In effect, he's admitting the acts, but just not the responsibility.
Will's maintained his innocence all along, in spite of memory gaps. Whatever Mr. Brower's strategy is, this will offer a new line of defense.
That's for Mr. Brower to tell me, Agent Crawford, not you.
When you think the chess game can't get more intense. So is this Hannibal? Obviously, I think this is Hannibal just trying to do what he does, like kick up dust, you know? But at the same time, it's almost like Will's cry for help or ask for help is making Hannibal do this, because obviously Hannibal doesn't want Will to die because Will is his best friend. I don't know, it's just all a game for him at the same time. Like, how do I know if he's actually falling for Will's trickery?
He would like us to believe he places on the spectrum somewhere near Asperger's and autism. Yet he also claims an empathy disorder. Will Graham has never been diagnosed. He will not allow anyone to test him. He wears it so well, even Jack Crawford could not see past it.
But you did?
Mr. Graham and I had no personal relationship for him to manipulate. The confused man Will Graham presents to the world could not commit those crimes.
You're half right. He didn't do it.
Is Will Graham an intelligent psychopath?
There is not yet a name for whatever Will Graham is. He kills methodically, and I believe would kill again, given the opportunity.
He just wants to keep Will with him.
Will Graham spent his time catching murderers for the FBI. You don't see a contradiction between that and your description of a cold-blooded killer?
No, I do not. Will Graham is driven by vanity and his own whims. He caught the other killers simply to prove he was smarter than all of them, too. It's just as arousing as ending them.
You're literally describing Hannibal. But your dumbass thinks is Will. Ugh.
My admirer?
Yes. The forensic report from the crime scene.
It's him. It's been a while since we saw this. We're gonna see Dear Man again.
I shoot Mr. Sykes once. He will die believing we were friends.
God damn, choke slam.
His death is impersonal.
Believing we were friends.
The ink from which flows my poem. Oh, it's not the same killer. He murdered his victim first and then mutilated him.
So it was not Hannibal?
This blunt reproduction?
You knew that already.
Would have liked to have been wrong.
Occam's broom. You intentionally ignored facts that refute your argument, hoping nobody would notice.
I wanted to dispel your doubts once and for all. Me.
Oh.
I want you to believe in the best of me. Even Jack is ready to believe Will.
You're just confirming to Will everything he suspects.
It would be a lie.
You're going to let his love go to waste.
Doing it with the sad eyes too.
Demonstrating all the hallmarks of Will Graham's alleged murders.
Do you think this killer committed the crimes that you're accused of?
Don't answer that.
He doesn't.
Not in front of me. It's inconsequential.
But is it true?
You're being awfully high, which is the exoneration of your friend, Will Graham.
And the point you're trying to make is reasonable doubt.
That's a win, yes. Needless to say, I won't be calling you to the witness stand.
Who's taking the stand in my place?
Hannibal? Can't wait to see how this goes.
I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Sees him there clear as day.
I was asked by Jack Crawford to monitor Will's emotional well-being while he worked on cases. I was never officially his psychiatrist.
If you weren't his psychiatrist, what were you?
I was meant to be his stability. He wanted a profile of the bailiff's killer.
So you believe the bailiff's murder was committed by the same person guilty of Will Graham's?
That's his play, yeah.
Will Graham is and will always be my friend.
Like, this is Hannibal's, like, curated gesture of friendship to Will of, like, the highest order, which I think is based on his assumption that Will is being honest with him about needing help. It's almost like I'm offering you this gesture of friendship in the most grand stage possible. Like, regardless of you accusing me of doing this, I'm here testifying in your favor and proclaiming in front of all these people that you will always be my friend. It would be heartwarming if it wasn't so crooked.
And in Will Graham's victims, or alleged victims, what was their cause of death?
Impaling.
Personal beliefs and biases are driving his conclusions. There are clearly two different killers in two different cases.
Your Honor, there are sufficient similarities to consider this a defense.
I'm ruling this defense inadmissible, Mr. Brower.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All previous testimony on the matter will be stricken from the record.
Come on, Jack. Hannibal makes you want to feel sorry for him, like he's legitimately conflicted. You know, missing a friend, trying to save a friend. Oh, this man missing Will. Are they gonna break him out or something? Oh, this is the courthouse. Is there gonna be something in the courthouse?
Not only is justice blind, it's mindless and heartless. How did the killer get so close?
No sign of a struggle. Mutilation was post-mortem.
He was shot in the chest just like the bailiff. Can't see the entry wound because he removed the heart.
But there is an exit wound. No slug. Must have taken it with him.
A trophy.
Is Will still on trial in your mind?
The use of a gun. Death first, mutilation last. I feel like St. Peter ready to deny Will for the third time. I'm not sure this is the same killer, Jack.
You have to force yourself out of this train of thought. The trial was going wrong before this murder. The trial was going wrong. Otherwise, the someone being left behind today or tomorrow is going to be you.
And even though they don't say it explicitly, it's like there's no way everything that's happening with Miriam or that happened with Miriam isn't still like haunting Jack for him not to give up on Will. Because that was one of the things I was frustrated with Jack so much at the end of like at the second half of season 1. It's like, dog, with everything that happened with Miriam, like I thought it would make handling Will different for you. But I feel like part of it still plays a role now. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't want to give up on Jack, on Will. His instincts is telling him. The circus, as he explained it, is still telling him, you know? It's like the lengths that Hannibal goes. Uh-oh, he's dreaming. It's the deer. Mm-hmm.
Well,
putting him back in the cage.
Verdict. I can't exactly blame your lawyer.
Well, faith in any sort of legal justice has never been any more comforting than a nightlight.
When it comes to identifying a psychopath,
Already been misdiagnosed.
not by the court.
Walked out of that courtroom and I could hear my blood, a hollow drumming of wings. Absurd feeling that whoever this killer is, he wants to know me. What do you want?
I want to save you.
Thank God for Alana, man. Is she gonna withdraw? Thank God for Alana, man. Man, I appreciate Jack in this episode for sure. I mean, the showing up of a second ear, the whole court insert in this episode was very much appreciated, because I don't think we've ever been in court throughout this show. I love it. The whole greatest hits of Will Hannibal, man. I feel like the more I try to understand Hannibal, the more it just like toys with my brain. It's Christmas Eve. I got friends and family over, so no luck intro today. Happy celebrations, y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm gonna be off on Christmas Day, but I'll see you after for The Good Place.